Guys, get your body ready. It's time. He is the bringer of hype, the person of the people, and the creative legend. He is a creative director and founder of Mayday Media. Ladies, welcome David Miller.
It's quite an introduction.
Did you notice? No gentlemen, just ladies.
I did. I did notice that. I don't know how my girlfriend feel about that.
Wait, one sec. Jerome, cue music. Like that one, David? You like that one? It's pretty hype, right?
Man,
Pretty
I didn't know that this was
quality.
Hollywood production.
Mate,
We're going all out. That's what it's all about here.
Mate, I've got Steven Spielberg's number on speed dial, mate. What are you talking about?
Yeah, gosh, if I knew it was such a high value production of maybe
Would've
would have worn a
dressed up a
button
little
up
bit.
shirt or something.
How you going, man?
I'm good. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous as it's my first ever podcast, but I think I'm more relaxed that it's with you guys because I know you guys. So
You'll be right, mate. So
Yeah.
I think if anything, just ease into it. It's fine. Everyone gets nervous at the start, first 5 minutes, and then eventually just ease into it, and they're good.
Yeah.
You'll eventually forget all this extra stuff.
yeah.
But so I guess the reason why you invited you on was because you're actually a pretty big influence on Phuong's life, or where we are today for AM Visuals. So do you want to run us through the story of how you and Phuong met?
Yeah, so when Phuong and I met, it was sort of peak COVID time. It was during that time where, you could only buy 2 boxes of spaghetti, a box, a can of baked beans. You couldn't find toilet paper. It was a bit mental. So what was that?
Good old times.
The good times. The good old pandemic memories.
I remember that would have been in somewhere early 2020s, like when the things were just happening, sort of thing.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
kicked off.
Yeah.
it was like it was around March or April
Correct.
of 2020.
People were selling toilet paper for like $40 on eBay.
Yeah,
It's fun, so good.
yeah. I think the furthest I drove to find toilet paper was like Wollongong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you actually?
Hey man, when you gotta go.
Yeah.
Really, from Zetland to Wollongong? That's
Yeah.
really nuts, man.
Yeah. Maybe cut that bit out because I wasn't allowed to drive that far.
There's leaves outside your on trees and whatnot.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't that desperate. I wasn't that desperate. That's sort of like when we get to the zombie level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God-
But yeah.
God gave you these perfect 2 hands for a reason, bro. Just
Yeah.
wipe your ass with it. It's fine.
No, yeah, but then I have to touch my camera, so
All right.
But
tell us this. Take us through the story.
yeah, so yeah, I met Phuong. He was working at Camera House in Broadway, and I needed to buy a whole bunch of equipment because when starting out as a videographer, you watch all these YouTube videos of you need this gear, you need that gear. So I had a whole list of all this equipment that I thought I needed to buy. Went into the shop and I just gave him the list and I was like, do you have this? Do you have that? So we started going through the stock in the store, and he was just like, "Oh man, you need, heaps of things. What is it that you do? What do you film?" And I said, "Oh, I film real estate." And he said, "Oh, what do you mean you film real estate? What does that entail?" I said, "Oh, well, I've got clients who, with this pandemic happening, they can't, have auctions or open homes. No one can see these homes, but so they have like these walkthrough videos." He said, "Oh, that sounds really cool." I said, "Yeah. Would you like to come to a video shoot one time?"
I was like, who's this guy? Like inviting me to places, honestly
Yeah.
speaking. But in all honesty, though, you did blew my mind in saying that you did real estate videography, because like at that point, I would thought that being a freelancer, you need to go do weddings, birthday parties, and all that stuff, and you're like real estate. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what's
Nah,
going on?
I sort of skipped that whole wedding phase. I don't want that responsibility to film someone's wedding. Some people are really good at it and they love doing that. But me personally, I prefer shooting real estate. But so what? It was like 10 or 15 minutes into our conversation, I invited you to come to a shoot. A couple of days later, you met up with me. It was at
Crow's
Kalara.
Nest. Crow's Nest was the first one.
Was it Crow's Nest?
Yeah, Crow's Nest.
Oh, that penthouse.
Yeah. Like that one where we flew the drones on the roof of that apartment.
Yeah, and we had full synchronized drone flight together. It was like ballet. It was like
there you
drone
go.
ballet. It was really nice.
Sheesh.
And then after that, we went to Kalara
That's right.
and we met Ben Cohen from Sotheby's. And it was this beautiful, like $5-6 million estate. And Phuong was just like, look at all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's really cool. And
luxury homes was definitely a thing, man.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
yeah, you just like on the outside, you stay professional when you see these mega mansions. But inside, inside is kind of like, oh my gosh, look at this. On the outside, you're like, oh, okay, very nice home. Yes, we'll do a very good job of filming and capturing your property.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of just went from there. And as I got busier and busier, and Phuong started to dive into that sort of industry and show more interest in videography and editing. Our friendship just continued to grow from there. We'd rely on each other for shoots. If I needed someone or he needed someone, we'd call each other, and yeah, it just went from there.
It's funny you say that, right? When opportunity just strikes, you gotta opportunity presents itself, you gotta just take it, right? Same thing with you. And from my understanding, your story is that you started during COVID too, right? After you got laid off.
Yeah, that's
as a
right.
salesperson.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
basically, I've always been a creative, or anything creative I've always been drawn to. So when I was young, in school, art, drawing, painting, music, whatever it was, I always, was always drawn to that. And then, sort of in my early 20s, remember when GoPros were super popular?
Yeah.
Everyone had one. They didn't know why they had one. They saw some guy snowboarding or jumping out of a helicopter on YouTube with a GoPro, and they just thought, oh, I need one of those. And then it just sat there and collected dust. So I got a GoPro because I was traveling overseas, and I made this cool video of my friends and I when we went to Brazil for the World Cup in 2014. And instead of having like photos to look back at, I made this like little documentary of my mates and I on our travels. And they're like, oh, dude, that was really cool. You should do this. And I was like, who's going to pay me to?
That was before the whole era of vlogging on YouTube, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
During, yeah.
It was. I purely made it just so I had like a little video to reflect back on my travels with my mates, and so they could have like a cool little souvenir. But that's sort of my first introduction to using cameras and editing, and then I bought a better camera from that, and but it wasn't until COVID hit, and I was basically made redundant at my sales job at the time, and but I'd met Ben Cohen from Sotheby's International Realty in Double Bay. I was in Double Bay at the time. I had a camera with me, and he approached me, and he said, "Hey, I noticed you got a camera. Is it photos or videos?" I said, "Oh no, I do videos." He said, "Oh well, my bosses Mark and Barry Goldman, they are actually looking for someone to do videos. Can I introduce you to them on Monday?" And I said, "Yeah, we can go. Yeah, we can have a look at that." So I did a video with them. That was in 2017. I did a handful of videos for them. It was nothing amazing. It was nothing wow. I was just sort of figuring out what it is that I'm trying to, I guess, the direction of my life I'm going towards.
So at that point, you already like had your hand in editing and whatnot for various like little jobs and whatnot, right?
It was, in terms of editing,
Yeah.
it was still on iMovie, which is a free
Yeah.
Apple software.
Mm.
There was no like, picture profiles like S-Log2 or any of that. I had a Canon 7D Mark II, which is a photography camera, not a video camera, but I preferred video. It's just the camera I could afford at the time. But it wasn't until COVID that Ben Cohen called me and he said, all the open homes, all the auctions, all of that stuff, no one can go to, but people need to see these homes because real estate's not stopping. I need a video walkthrough of these houses. So if it wasn't for him calling me, I wouldn't have had the demand to, I guess, make him a video. Someone else saw that. Hey, you did that for Ben Cohen. Can you make that for me as well? And I started to get a bit more busy. I needed more equipment, met you, and then you saw what it is that I do. And it just sort of
blew up from there.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
It was
right?
a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Was-
Right place, right time, I would
That's
say.
the thing with
Yeah, I'd say that.
isn't that what they say about getting lucky? So it's just about preparation meeting opportunity. And I guess you were just again like what you said, right place, right time, and right place, right time, and yeah, it is what it
I
is.
think the word is you're looking for is serendipity. I love that word, by the way.
Yeah, maybe you should change the
Serendipity,
podcast
yeah.
to Serendipity. Pretty cool name.
I swear, this guy every episode that we do,
We're changing the
he's
name
changing the
Every podcast. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Look, that ties into the next question that I wanted to ask you too. Is this about the importance of video? Like you said it yourself during COVID time. Videos are quite important for the real estate space because people weren't allowed to go out to view the homes. Now, knowing that today and in this current landscape when we're no longer in lockdown.
Yeah.
What is your view on the importance of video for businesses in general?
Well, if you look at how much traffic on the internet is video based, I think it's around the 85% online traffic is video consumption. Doesn't matter what the video footage is, if it's a tutorial on how to cut hair, if it's a tutorial on how to make clothes or how to edit video footage or whatever it is. There's just so much video content online. But whatever your questions are, there is an answer, whether it's found on YouTube or wherever it is, Vimeo. And it always comes in the form of video content. But in terms of, I guess, back then, things like, YouTube and all that sort of stuff were around. But when you tie in YouTube and then now Instagram and TikTok, because TikTok, when did TikTok come out?
2000. It was originally Musically.
Yeah.
I want to say 2017. If I'm correct.
Yeah.
But it didn't explode until
COVID, like during that period when everyone
Yeah.
started looking to it. So
people realized they love
yeah,
video content, but not just video content, short, sharp, snappy videos.
correct.
Yeah.
We call it snackable content.
Yeah.
30 seconds or so. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
It kind of feels like everybody during that time, during COVID, they realized like, hey, I've got a camera in my hand. What is this? Like, I can do something with this, and that's basically one of the catalysts for TikTok being so popular.
Well, it's funny because it's insane. Smartphones have been around for a while now, and
Yeah.
the iPhone 2, 3, whatever. You've always had that functionality, but no one really utilized it. So the way I see it, the landscape was first changed when YouTube came out, right? That's when
Yeah.
videos really started taking off, and then the next exponential, I guess, change to it was when TikTok came out. Instagram didn't do that. People think because Instagram has Reels now, but they forget that Instagram was originally a photo platform, right? Stills only until recently. But once TikTok came out and people realized that, hey, look, I'm gonna consume my content, short content through videos. That's when everyone started talking about videos. Your Gary V's, all your social media influencers, they started talking about videos. And that's what we preach to our clients as well, is that the power of video, like, you can't connect with someone through a photo as you can with a video, because they feel like they know you once they watch all your content, and when you meet them in person, it's more of a, hey, I'm talking to you as a friend because I've known you, but then you on the other side, you don't know them at all.
Yeah. Videos are moving pictures,
Correct.
but especially when you have someone speaking to you, and even more so if they're looking directly into the camera lens, it's like they're speaking to you. So when you're looking for information and when you're looking for a specific topic online and you find a video of that topic that you're interested in, and that person is there talking to you, it feels like on the other side, on the receiving end, they're talking to me, and it feels personal. It feels, relevant, because it's like, well, I'm searching for what it is that you're talking about and you're giving me that. So there's that sort of connection. Even though it's on a screen, video content just cuts out things like, instead of blogs where people used to read, now you don't have to read. It just gets
Recorded.
It just gets recorded, and I can consume that information because you've told me that information that I was looking for. And people enjoy, and I think it's just like you said, what did you call it before? Snacking?
Snackable content.
Yeah, snackable content. It's like, cool, I got the information I needed. I didn't have to search too far or too long. I didn't have to read anything. I got what it is that I was looking for, and I got it quickly, and
Look,
they consume it.
In saying that, I'm not saying that there's no place for photos or blog posts, copywriting. There's people who prefer reading or prefer looking at photos and not videos, or listen to like podcasts. So as our friend from another digital agency says all the time, different courses for horses.
Courses for horses.
You're basically saying that there's different things for everyone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that, yes, currently videos are dominating. It's probably because people's attention span is so short. People just want to watch videos. But as a business, if you're also not doing the copywriting stuff for your business, then you're also missing out. So
we kind of look at it like as an analogy that we like to talk about is the Eiffel Tower, right? Where the Eiffel Tower is a place of attraction, but it's not mainly where people make the money. It's the businesses around. the Eiffel Tower that makes the money, right?
Did you come up with this analogy?
Nah.
We've actually I got it from another marketer as well, and it kind of resonated with us. So the way we approach our content now, it's yes, video is obviously one of the biggest arm for it, but there's an ecosystem around it, like with content creation in terms of writing, blog posts, photos, and all that stuff as well. So all that combined together creates the snackable content for people to consume, all the information that we give them as well.
But reeling it back to your business, Mayday Media, how are you putting yourself out there in terms of video content for people to know who you are? Apart from obviously the beautiful homes that you're putting out there, are you planning to do extra content to show people who David Miller is, the owner of the company?
Good question. So, I guess there's a couple of different topics within that question. I'll try and remember them. So in terms of actually putting the content out there with Mayday Media, so yeah, while it did start in real estate, and I love that because I love filming beautiful homes. You know, I find filming homes easier than filming things like
People.
weddings and people, because people move and people change and they want to always go back and rewind and stuff. Whereas filming a beautiful home, it's already ready to go and it doesn't move. I just have to capture beautiful parts of it during the daytime, the dusk, sunset, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of putting content out there, it's still, Mayday Media is still in its infancy. There's a bit of momentum behind it now, I guess, after a couple of years. But in terms of like networking and spreading the message of what it is that I do completely have social media to thank for that, and a lot of word of mouth. So I'd produce content for, one agent, and then another agent may see that and enjoy that and then reach out to us. And that's the beauty of social media, is it's a free network. Of course, you can pay for sponsored posts, but other than that, it is a free network, and it's a free way to connect with others, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok or whatever that is. I've used all of those platforms to connect with others, and like we were saying earlier, people will consume content that's relevant to them and that they're interested in. So if I'm putting out marketing content of real estate, agents and marketing agencies who work within that area of that field of work. Let me go back.
Delete that picture, Jerome.
Yeah.
Delete that bit.
Yeah, so real estate agents and agencies and offices and marketers of that particular field, they will reach out to me and say, hey, can you please send us a price list? We really love what you've done here. Are you free on a certain day to meet with us? We'd love to discuss how you could start filming for us and things like that. So in terms of
personal branding, like let's say, are you ever looking to get David Miller as a brand out there, or is it just always going to be Mayday?
I don't want to get David Miller branding out there, and I didn't want to name the business after myself because I kind of knew that this was something that I wanted to grow into something more, into a team of people. But if I was to name it after myself, if I had a team, that I worked alongside with, they're also part of the brand as well. Having my name to the business, I feel sort of, I guess, shadows them. But the business relies not just on myself; it relies on the team of people around me, and I want that team to be Mayday Media. I don't want it to be David Miller and a couple of other guys.
And they're cool gangs.
Yeah.
No, but in saying that, it is true. We did have the discussion about personal brand versus company brand a while back. And in saying that, naming a business after yourself, it becomes harder to scale as well as to eventually sell. Oh, that's a weird one. Anyways, it sounded weird in my head, sorry.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing we were talking about earlier about when Phuong was mentioning being an Eiffel Tower. What we usually try to advocate for, try to push to our clients is that to build your personal brand separate from your business brand. So let's say David Miller is the brand. He's the creative director, the photographer, right?
Yeah.
But he works in a Mayday Media. He works in Mayday events, Mayday whatever, right?
Yeah.
So eventually, if you do want to sell those or get rid of those arms of your business, you can still, or if you want to scale it.
I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, like what people see, like yes, it's the Mayday Media, that is your company, but what they buy is you. Because like the work that you've done, the interpretation that you've done in terms of like how you edit your videos, because anyone can take videos of house, right? It's just how you interpret it
Yeah.
and how you edit it that gives it that personal flair and gives it that personal connection between your work and the actual agent itself.
Yeah. If you take, for example, I love metaphors, right? If you take the metaphor of clothing labels, for example, you've got your expensive brands, you've got your cheaper brands, but and each brand would cater to its particular audience. Some people will buy this because it fits them price wise. Some people will buy this because they believe in the story of that particular brand. But there's no one brand that absolutely every single person is going to wear. For example, I love the story behind Nike and how they started. And, I read the autobiography by the founder, and I really connected with their story and how they started, and I loved it. And I lean more towards, if I'm going to buy, sporting equipment or sporting clothing or clothing for the gym or something, I'll lean towards Nike, because not because their clothes are better or anything like that. I just
Their branding is on point, mate.
Yeah, the branding
Their
is
branding and
amazing.
marketing is on point.
For me, though, the story,
Yeah.
I really connected with the story. I loved it. So I guess, going back to Mayday Media, why would people go with Mayday as opposed to someone else? You've got so many talented videographers, photographers, or content creators in Australia. And I think Australia produces some of the best real estate marketing content creators in the world. When you look at brands that are out there in this country, they just produce things that you do not find anywhere else in the world. You don't see that type of videography in America or Europe or anywhere like that. And in terms of why a client would pick me over someone else, it's not that my videos are better than anyone else's or worse or anything like that. But if I've got that connection with that client and that rapport, that's what they're buying. They buy you first. Your product is second. But when you sort of build that strong relationship with that client, you want to pull out all the tricks. You want to pull out every single, editing, I guess, trick that and you always want to go one step further for that client.
Look, in saying that, sorry to cut you off there. In saying that, you just mentioned that obviously people, the way I say it is people like to work with people, right? So
Yeah.
that's what you just mentioned. In saying that, why aren't you putting your personal brand out there? Don't you want people to know who you want to connect with you online?
I'd rather the work do all the talking, because at the end of the day, they're wanting the product and the service that I produce and that our team produces. I'm the person who goes out there, films it, edits it, and if it's not me, it's one of the members of our team. But I'm more focused on building that rapport with the client, but not just that. The video and the photos that we produce, I want that to do all the talking, not so much me. Because if I want to promote myself, I'll use a personal account and show like, hey, this is where I'm eating today. This is what I'm wearing today. And those are influencers. I'm not an influencer. I'm just running a small business here. And in terms of the actual content that we produce, I'm not interested so much so in creating the best video. I mean, I am interested in creating the best video for my client, but I'm more interested in them calling me to do the next job. The video that's more important is not the one I'm doing right now. It's the next one. I need to give them a reason to call me back. Call it customer service or being passionate or creative in whatever field that you do, but you need to give your clients a reason to call you back, because that's how you create that consistency. And if you're busier and you're staying busy, you're going to be consistently working on your craft. And the more you can work on your craft, the better at it you will be. If I look at videos that, 2 years ago, Phuong, when we first met, if I look at the videos that I made back then and look at them now, I'd cringe. And then now I am producing videos, as best as I can today. But I know in another 2 years, I'll look at what I've made now and thought, what what were you thinking, mate? Like this is wrong. You know, but
Rubbish.
you always want to be getting better
Yeah.
at what it is that you do. If you're passionate about what you do, you always want to be getting better at it.
Bashing yourself, bashing your past self. Why don't you?
I tell you what, being a creative is
tough,
It's
man.
an emotional roller coaster
yeah.
because you've got a vendor who wants to sell their home for top dollar. You've got an agent who wants to sell this home at an incredible price. Meanwhile, I've just come in. I couldn't care less about the sale or anything like that. I'm just like, how can I make something better than the last thing I made for this client? I'm just trying to make something that looks absolutely phenomenal. And not only that, I have to make it in a short turnaround time. So usually they'll get their content within 2 or 3 days.
That's crazy.
So
It's
you're
hard.
always
Yeah.
what I'm hearing is that you're always trying to top yourself at every shoot, at every video that you put out there. Right?
Absolutely.
So I want to know, you're obviously big on storytelling.
Yeah.
What's your approach on the creative direction of your videos? How do you approach it, like to give the best of the best that you can right now?
Well,
What is your process? Is
my
the question.
process? I would say my approach to producing and editing real estate videography, which is predominantly what it is that we do. We do some other videos, like other industries, and promoting things like tech companies and fashion brands and stuff like that. But our bread and butter and the majority of what we do is real estate content. And for those who don't know who Mayday Media is, I would say that our approach to what we do is we make music videos of homes. So growing up, I'm the oldest of 4 kids. We grew up in a big musical family. Parents played instruments. Our parents met in a band. Each of us kids, we either played the drums or piano or sang or guitar, just anything and everything we get our hands on. We wanted to play music.
What do you play, sorry?
I played drums and piano growing up.
Did you play the guitar?
Nah, I didn't have I had the coordination for drums, not the coordination for guitar.
Okay.
It's just too finicky.
All right, fair enough.
But the drums are cool because you could hit stuff.
Yeah.
You can really get into it.
Yeah, it's like that.
I've got this energy I
a
need to
finesse
vent.
kind of guy, eh?
No,
Just
no,
not
no,
bash
no.
it.
Exactly. And so that sort of musical, I guess that musical ability always stayed within me. And, when I moved home, I couldn't bring all these instruments with me. So that creativity side of me sort of faded away and sort of came into the videography side of things. And so when I go into a home, I look at the home and I sort of ask myself, what does this home sound like? Is this home more of a hip hop lounge type of home, or is this a classical cinematic home? What does this home sound like? So I'll go around and I'll look at the lines of the home and I think it'll be cool to capture this part of the home like this or that. And then once I get home, I get rid of all the rubbish files, keep the best ones, and then I'll go on this mad hunt looking for the perfect song for this home. And I'm like, no, it doesn't sound like this, doesn't sound like that. Sometimes I'm lucky, I can find it in a couple of minutes. Sometimes I'm really unlucky and I'll be looking for 6 or 7 hours. And that is one of my biggest flaws because I'm so specific and I'm a perfectionist when it comes to what is this home? What does this home sound like? But once I find that song, between me filming the home and the client getting the video, I've had a nervous breakdown. I've had a heart attack. My missus has had to pick me up off the ground and mop the floor of my tears. There's just so emotional. And these clients, they think, yeah, he's just going in there. He's gonna film a house and he'll edit it and send it back to me. But no, I'm trying to make something better than the last thing I did. And once I find the song, there's such a weight off my shoulders. I'm like, okay, yes, this is the song that I've been looking for. I then put that into the video, but then it doesn't stop there. The song might not be in the order that I want it to be in. So I'll have to then chop up the song, move the intro here, move the chorus there. Then it has to all line up, because if it doesn't line up, your song will just be out of sync and it's kind of be like, what's wrong with this song? It's kind of a bit of a mess. So I have to then rewrite the song in terms of chopping up the order, because maybe the agent wants to speak in this bit, but I'm not going to make the agent speak on top of the chorus. The chorus is the punch. That's the meat of the song. You have to put the agent's piece to camera at a quiet bit. So when they stop speaking in the video, it leads up to the chorus or the beat drop, and that's where you show like the money shot of the home.
Okay.
So there's all
you-
those little considerations, but the song directs the video. Whatever's happening in the song will help me determine and decide what video clip I'm gonna then, or what effect I'm gonna put into the video.
Yeah, I think the way you're doing what you're doing is you are also telling a story, which is what ultimately people connect with, is a story brand kind of stuff. But with what you're doing is you're chopping it up to kind of tell a story the way you want to tell it, which is why I guess your videos are so good, because when you follow it kind of just starts slow, and then the introduction of the house, and then bang, and then the music, and then slows off, peaks down. And
You can never pick it. You can never. Every time I watch your videos, it's just like you can never pick it. What makes it so good? Like there's such like every time I show just like check this out. It's like, damn, this is amazing. And that's every single reaction that we have is that of your videos. It's just like every single time. I don't get
It's
it.
taking you through a journey too
Yeah.
when you're watching his videos. And the word's kind of buzzword too, but it is taking you through a journey from end to end of the house. But like the way you're interpreting it and the way you're editing it, it's this beautiful story that just kind of the intro, and then the drop, which is the conflict or what, and then the resolution and the picture.
Oh,
It's
that's
like-
awesome.
it's
Thank you,
beautiful.
guys.
So look, I guess the next question relating to that is a good segue to this question. Sorry, what makes Mayday Media the go-to real estate video creator for in that field?
That's a good question. What makes
And-
Mayday Media the go-to?
And the second part,
Yeah.
do you think you're better than X Media?
First of all, I don't think anyone is better than X Media. I think they are. I think they are leading the way in terms of Australian content creators. They absolutely inspire me when I see what they make. Going back to what you said, if you watch something that I make, you think, "Oh my god, that's amazing." When I watch what they make, sometimes when I watch what they make, makes me want to cry. I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be on that level. Or if I am, like, when, they're so good at what they do, and they definitely inspire me. But I don't want to copy what other studio guys are making. I definitely want to take inspiration, but trying to copy someone else will only make you as good as them. You know?
Yeah.
But going back to your question, Phuong, why should people go to Mayday? People should work with who gets them the best results.
Yes, true.
So if my clients are getting the best results through me, they should stick with me. If they're not getting the results that they're after, whether that's price-wise or the look of what we produce or whatever it may be, they should work with someone who gets their results. You should only surround yourself with those who are going to get you to where you need to be. So, I'm very fortunate that we've got a good, solid client base. It keeps us, they're extremely consistent, and they keep us really, really busy. And it's always really nice to know when, I guess, our clients' competition contact us and say, hey, we really like what you've produced for this particular agent. Can you do some work for us? Although we have an exclusivity agreement with our clientele, where if we're producing content for them, we don't produce content for their competition in their area, because they love so much what it is that we do. It gives their marketing content, I guess, a point of difference, because it's our style. It's the style that we produce. Our style is not better or worse than anyone else's, but it's what we produce. And it's every content creator has their own flavor, as it were. And it's always humbling when someone else wants to work with us. But in order for our clientele to have the upper hand, we keep it exclusive with them. So I guess that's another reason why they like to opt to work with us.
It's pretty cool.
Very good answer, man.
Yeah.
Very good answer.
I wanted to quickly just wonder back just a little bit about what you were saying earlier about being a creative and running a business. And I think this is a good piece for people who are creatives or artists, but are looking also to start their own business. And I think that it is a bit hard, because we come from a business background. Our whole family have all been doing business. I wouldn't say we're creatives, and our work doesn't show that we're creatives. Like we're not trying to make a Picasso piece of painting in a video like you are. it's and you can tell by the caliber of clients that we have too. They're more business minded. They're more looking for results opposed to a really nice video.
Yeah.
And that's what we enjoy. That's what we prefer to do. In saying that, with that, being a creative going to business is, like you said earlier, it's a tough thing, like, because it's such a emotional roller coaster. People may say, hey, look, I don't like this part of the video, but you spent like literally 2 days on that one piece. And, you know, to take that feedback on board and say, oh, yeah, okay, I'll change it to the way you like it, but the way the feedback that they gave you, that makes no sense in the whole scheme of the whole video, right?
Yeah.
So in saying that, how are you finding the journey between, I guess, the transition between a creative to a business owner, and how are you managing that?
Good question.
You know?
So, like I was saying before, Mayday Media is still in its infancy. It's only a couple of years old. We are busy, but we're not where we have the potential to be just yet. So we're still moving in that direction. We've got the momentum to get where I'd like it to be. You see online these days all these courses and all these influencers and all this noise, as it were, of being your own boss, being an entrepreneur, all these, all these like, yada, yada, all that sort of, like I said, it's all noise. And
Or the online gurus, as it were.
yeah. And prior to running my own business, I was employed, and most of the time it was like sales roles. Being employed is comfortable. It's comfortable because you have a consistent salary. Maybe you've got bonuses and commissions, superannuation, insurances, all that sort of stuff. Gosh, it's good, and you've got particular hours that you can work from and then to, and then you get your weekends and things like that. And then one day you get this brilliant idea. You know what? I'm too ambitious for this. I'm going to start my own business.
The worst curse ever.
And it is a double-edged sword, because once you start it,
You're screwed.
personally, I can't go back. I couldn't go back to being employed by someone. But then on the other hand, I have no option now. I am the receptionist. I am customer service. I am HR. I'm the accountant. I am the boss. I wear all the hats, and it's exhausting. There is no more, if you want to work for yourself, there's no more Monday to Friday. There's no more 9 to 5. That is out the window. It is exhausting. It is emotional. It is frustrating. It is emotional again.
And it's emotional one more time.
it's expensive, and it's not, it'll test you. It'll test you in terms of your patience. And I guess something that helps me, I don't have the ability to just sit down and read, but I love to listen, and I love listening to, like, I guess, business books or people who inspire me on Audible. This podcast has not been sponsored by Audible.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You can listen to an audiobook on your chosen audiobook preference, but that's the one that I use. And when I listen to people who inspire me, or their stories, or business books, things like that, if it doesn't resonate with me, I'll delete it and move on to the next one quickly. But I'll take what information resonates with me, what information I like, and I'll apply that into what it is that I do. Going from a creative to running a business, you start off being creative because you want to express yourself, and then getting people reacting to what it is that you do, whether it's writing a song or taking photographs or making videos or whatever it is that you do. When people react, have an emotional reaction to something that you've made creatively, whether it makes them laugh, makes them cry, makes them happy, whatever it is, I think the biggest reward of any creative is being able to make something and pour your heart and soul into it, to then have an audience say, wow. That if that paid the bills, I wouldn't need to invoice people. I love so much to make something, and then for my clientele or whoever it is that I'm showing to be, wowed or impressed or laugh at it or cry at it. Recently, a very, very close childhood friend of mine asked me to film their secret family wedding ceremony in the Blue Mountains. Okay. I didn't ask for any money. This was going to be my wedding gift to them. and I filmed this thing for them, and it was just them and their parents. Okay. Then when the engagement party happened, people were invited into the room. Everyone's dressed up nice. They were like, "Oh, this is a bit full on for an engagement party," and their wedding video played, and like they're all crying and they're all like, they came up to me afterwards and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe like how good that was, and you know, you captured our day, you captured our moment. Like, you know, I've got goosebumps and all this sort of stuff," and that was everything that I needed. That was everything I needed to hear. That was so good. But then going from the point where your creativity turns into a business, it's hard because people can say, "Oh, don't take it personally. It's just business." Well, no, because I personally made this, you know, so yes, I am going to take it personally, but it's, I guess, how you react to that feedback. You know, like you said before, sometimes you'll make something, the client says, "Can you change this? Can you change that?" It's such a, okay, cool. I can make these amendments. But I think the more that I do this, the more I've learned to take on feedback. But not only that, listen to what each clientele knows and mirroring your client. Because when you mirror people, you're comfortable with them. And when I know what my clients are after and what it is that they want, I'll make something specific to them. I customize and I tailor what it is that they like and I make it for them. And that, I guess, removes and reduces the friction of any changes that may pop up later down the track.
Can you explain that, mirroring your clients?
So mirroring, I mean, when you mirror a client or when you mirror anyone, you know, if you take, for example, a particular client that I have and just the way he greets people, he uses, when I see him, he go, "Davey, how's it?" What he's saying is, "Hey, David, how are you?" But because he says it like that, he goes, "Davey, how's it going?" Oh, sorry, he goes, "Davey, how's it?" And I go, "Ben, how's it?" So I say the same thing back to him. I don't say that to anyone else, but I say it to him and he says it back to me. So I mirror him in that regard. So I guess that it's almost like that's that sort of connection that we have. But by mirroring someone else, you sort of make them comfortable because they're like, "Oh, this person's like me. And I'm like them."
Yeah, people
That's interesting.
He's part of my tribe, you know. We're tribal people at the end of the day, you know. We're tribal
We are.
people. So, look, I think we're going on a bit of a tangent here, but I want to reel it back to running a business and being creative. And I think this would be actually a pretty good title for this podcast, Jerome. How business kills your creativity? ? Something like that. Oh, I kind of like that.
How business
will kill your creativity. But
Yeah.
look, in saying that, coming from an artist's kind of view set on your personal business, does it ever get not mundane, but do you ever start having days where you're like, "Do I really enjoy what I do?"
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, even if you're doing what it is that you love, there's still going to be times where you're like, "Oh man, even though I do love what it is that I do, for whatever reason," and there's always going to be a reason, but for whatever reason, I'm not enjoying this. And it might be like writer's block, or maybe you're in a bit of a creative funk, whatever it is. But just remove yourself from it for a second. Go for if you need to go for a walk, or just remove yourself from that situation. It happens. It does happen. So, because at the end of the day, you're human. And, if you're fatigued, that's where, these particular thoughts or feelings can come in. But if you don't remove yourself from that, well, then you're not giving yourself an opportunity to reset or refresh.
Now, in saying that, can you tell us a recent experience you've had with uncomfortable situations or unpleasurable situations, perhaps? Maybe
Unpleasurable.
Or maybe that's that's.
Is that in the dictionary?
Unpleasurable.
It could be. I don't know. Never heard it
Maybe
before.
Unpleasant is the word I think.
Unpleasurable, right? Maybe that could be firing a client, perhaps.
The way you ask that, it sounds like this is something that happened
Perhaps.
recently.
I don't know. It's like, we kind of...
It's an experience that I guess the three of us endured together. Hence
Teamwork.
why you have asked me.
It's
For those
interesting.
who don't know.
Before you go, it's interesting that you mentioned that wedding as well. You're able to compartmentalize this whole issue
Oh
while
my
you were doing something really nice for your friend as well.
That's
It
correct.
gets
Yeah.
stressful though when you're trying to deal with two things at once. But anyways, go on, tell us the story.
Look, in a nutshell, to give you a bit of background, my photographer and I were at a shoot, and sort of like towards the end of the shoot, it was almost sunset, and then the agent comes up and asks us, "Are you doing the floor plan?" Which they had not asked us to do, and we said, "No, we're not doing the floor plan, but would you like us to?" Yeah, we would. Okay, cool. Call Phuong. Hey, are you able to do a floor plan? He's like, yeah, I can get there tomorrow. Okay, fantastic. So I'm busy putting the videos together the next day. Cade's busy putting the photos together. You boys go out to the home, put the floor plan together, and then we all send what we've made back to this client. Now, I have also informed this client, by the way, in 2 days' time, I'm going out to this wedding, this secret wedding. I'm going to be filming, so I'm going to make sure you get everything you need prior to me leaving, because where I'm going, there's not going to be any reception. So I get to the wedding location, and the reception is a bit patchy. At times, I do have a bit of reception, and at the times that I do have reception, my WhatsApp is exploding from messages of this client saying, the video's terrible, the photos are not what we asked for, the floor plan is it's a floor plan. Like, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not Mona Lisa here, mate. It's a white background with some black lines.
It's meant to be a representation.
A floor plan is basically a barcode opened up. Okay, that's all it is. It's not whoa, and they just tore into what it is that we were doing. Now, it's very interesting if you look at the group of myself and the clients and the way that they were speaking to us. This is your fault. You're to blame. Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? When we had submitted everything that we do and what it is that we do within the time frame that we said we would, and then I go back into the group chat of us. We were so, I tell you what, if you go back into that group chat, guys, we were so productive that day. It could have been so easy for us to be like, F these guys, haha, whatever, let's just invoice them and we were, okay, how can we do this better for them? How can we make them happy? Guys, I'm filming this thing right now. Can you do this? Can you do that? We were just feeding off each other and delegating, and we were getting, trying to do the best that we can for this client. But they were just, I don't know if they were having a bad day or whatever it was, but the bridge was definitely burnt. The bridge was burnt, then bombed, then they swept up the ashes, put that into a kiln, and then sent that kiln into space. That's what
Into
happened
the
to
sun.
Yeah. So
Oh, man.
when after that horrible experience, and I felt guilty because it was a horrible experience for all of us, but I felt guilty because I brought you guys into that situation, obviously not knowing that they were going to, explode on us like that. It was crazy. But in terms of the days after, we had conversations like, should we fire them? Should we send them an email or whatever it was? And once we'd all calmed down, I remember you guys telling me, I know you were going to send them an email, David. Maybe best not to. They haven't reached out to you, so maybe just let it be. So in terms of moving forward, if I ever have a difficult client, or if anyone listening to this, or perhaps you guys ever have a difficult client, if they don't contact you again,
just leave it.
As it is. It's water under the bridge. Just forget about it, because you need to put more focus on
Next
who
one.
is with you right now and who is important to you right now, and servicing your clients to the best that you can. In the event that these difficult clients reach out, if you truly believe that you can work with them again, verbalize with each other your expectations of each other. Also have a client agreement in place.
Oh, you have one of those now.
I do have one of those now. Gosh, I felt so productive when I typed that out. It's a 12-page client agreement.
I will not do this.
Yeah.
I will not do that.
And I was like, gosh, this is so professional. But if you truly don't want to work with this client moving forward, You just let them know, listen, I believe our brands are going in different directions, but I wish you all the best.
Yeah, make it amicable.
Yeah.
It's interesting
get
that you say that. Have you ever read Google reviews of like businesses where they've gotten a bad review and then the owner comes back and basically goes up in flame and tries to justify himself and be like he tries to get angry at the customer. That's never a good look, is it?
The
It's
best
not a
one
good
I
look.
love
Yeah.
is, oh, this is a fake review.
Yeah.
Never heard about you before. It's like, yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see 1-star reviews on Google, I then think, there's so many positive, there's so much positive feedback for this particular business. Why is this person giving a 1-star review? And not always, but most of the time, I'll then click on that person's Google page and see, you can see then all the reviews they've left. And most of the time, they're just leaving 1-star reviews for everyone. Like, so you're not just...
You're just an asshole, man.
you're just complaining. You just
It's a
need to
Karen.
vent out. Yeah, get out of here, mate.
Karen.
Yeah.
But look, to tie that up, that question up. So, is it okay to fire a client?
It's absolutely okay to fire a client. Just because I provide a service or a product doesn't mean that I have to work with whoever just walks into my door. I want to enjoy who it is that I work with. Why don't I should be able to have the freedom and ability to
Just pick and choose.
not only do what it is that I love to do, but do it with people that I enjoy doing it with. Yeah.
I agree. Look, in saying that, what happened to that client?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't heard from them.
Was there any repercussions or anything like that?
No repercussions. I know that the three of us had a conversation like, should we not invoice them? Because like they seem to be so unhappy, but at the same time, we work so hard to like try and make all these revisions with them just to make them happy. Didn't matter what we did, they just weren't happy. So we just realized, you know what? Nah, I think you're a 1-star Google reviewer. I know what you are. That's what you are. So we invoiced them. They paid. That was the end of that. Interesting thing is though, I noticed online that they went back to whoever it is that they were using previously, and all the creative techniques that I had brought into their online marketing, they then got their previous guy to then copy them. So I don't know how.
Didn't they say your videos were crap?
Well, I don't know how that guy would feel knowing that, hey, I used to make content for you guys. You've then left me for someone else because you believe he's better. For whatever reason, you're leaving him and coming back to me, but you're asking me to make what he did for you through me. So it's kind of like...
That's weird.
That leaves a sour taste in my mouth, honestly.
Yeah. And whoever that creator is, good luck to them because...
Oh, mate. Honestly, in terms of firing clients, we've actually had a recent experience with that too.
what was that like?
That was beautiful.
Like
it's
she,
amazing.
the client,
It's beautiful.
the client
It's like-
unfortunately didn't have, was actually always asking for lower prices and discounts and whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, as they do. And those are usually the clients that you want to steer clear of.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we decided to do some work for them. And then after doing a decent, big project with them, we came to the conclusion that we weren't too happy working with them because their demands were just unreasonable and just, it wasn't a good fit. And so what we did
Even with a client agreement in place?
Yeah. So the thing was, after, like, I spoke to the team and you can't risk or you can't put the client on top of your team's morale and how they feel, right? Because at the end of the day, your team is who you're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. And if they're not happy with the client, then sometimes you got to bite the bullet and just part ways with the client, even though they're paying you your bills. So what ended up happening is we told them that, hey, look, we don't actually want to work with you anymore.
How did you say it though?
It was
Through an
professional.
email?
Yeah, it was professional. It was like, hey, look, I don't think we're the right fit. However, here's all the projects, you've approved them, everything's so good to go. She took them, she was happy. Well, what ended up happening is a month or two later, she came back saying, hey, look, this is not right. There's a mistake here. I need you to fix this, blah, blah, blah. Just started grilling us out of nowhere.
Hang on a second. You sent the email and she was okay?
Yeah, she was good. It's fine.
She was like,
But then-
we sent all the project files and everything. So we're like, hey, we're not going to leave you like dry. Here's all the stuff that you need in case anyone else wants to work on them.
Yeah.
And a month later, she comes back and starts like telling us off.
Right? And then, so that week, I
She's a
remember,
1-starer.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
one of those Karens. So that,
Yeah.
and then, and by during that week, it was a bit busy week, so we didn't get back to her yet. And then the following week, she starts grilling us on Instagram. And she's like, you got to remove this. You can't use this photo of mine, blah, 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 and like all that stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I try to stay professional. Say, hey, look, we've already decided to part ways. We don't actually want to deal with you anymore after that situation. And then she made it sound like we were trying to take the high road and be sophisticated and blah, blah. And she started accusing us of copying her brand and with all the branding and stuff. So we're like, oh my God, this. Anyways.
This was another interaction a month later, after that month.
It's just arguing for the sake of arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And regardless of industry, you'll always find people like that. But the sooner you can put them in your rearview mirror, the better.
Yeah, for sure. It was super stressful that week, but then as soon as we kind of got over it, was kind of, please don't message me again. But they ended up blocking us for no reason. I'm like,
Oh, no, let them block
yeah, that's
you.
fine. That's
Let 'em
fine.
block you.
I think we're about time. Yeah.
I got Washi one more question, man.
I've got one too, so yeah.
Well,
yeah.
why are you trying to end it, man? Why are you
No,
trying to
no,
end it?
like
Don't know, we're having such a good time.
Yeah,
boys.
so-
we just got started.
Yeah, Jesus.
two things. I noticed this is like very how do I put it? Very. I noticed these things about you, right? So when I first met you, you were graciously allowed me to shadow you to go see what the industry was like.
Yeah.
That signifies to me that you have a very good sort of people mindset. And obviously you love to nurture the relationships around you. So tell me the philosophy behind that. Like how do you approach the people around you?
Oh, wow, that's deep, bro.
Hmm.
That's deep. To be honest, I guess a bit of intuition and a bit of, gut instinct. When I met you, we sort of just clicked, I just kind of figured, this guy, he seems like a nice guy. Let's see, he seems to be interested in what it is that I do. And if he's showing an interest in what it is that I do, if there's something that I can offer to let them step into what it is that they're supposed to do and what direction they're supposed to go in, then by all means. I'll take back, if we rewind back to when Ben Cohen approached me in Double Bay all those years ago, and Mark and Barry Goldman, when they gave me the opportunity to film, that example of them asking me, hey, are you able to do this for us and see where this goes? If they hadn't given me the opportunity, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm a firm believer in giving people an opportunity to see where it may go. I've seen that example, work in my life. Maybe it can work in others. But in terms of bringing you in, I guess, and, we were shadowing and things like that. You were shadowing me while I was filming or editing or just seeing what it is that I do and how I achieve those results. I guess being able to help others be their best version of themselves. And if you are moving up, you do want to bring good people around you up with you, because if you can create that momentum together, two will always get more done than just one alone. So.
You know what's better? 3 will always get more than 2. You know what's better than that?
I wasn't that good at math in school, so.
Yeah.
Last question, David Miller from Mayday Media. What is the direction of Mayday Media? Or like, what are you thinking? What's your not end goal, but what's your short-term goal, where you want to be?
Where's the next thing?
Yeah, what's the next thing?
So I guess for the foreseeable future, we really want to, we've basically, perfected our workflow when it comes to real estate marketing. I'm not saying our work is perfect, but our workflow and how we produce it has been perfected, and it's humming away along nicely, So we want to start venturing out into other industries, and another industry that we want to start, or another, topic that we want to start creating content for is events, not weddings. I just want to put that out there. But I'll tell you a really cool story. Recently, I got a message from this business coach, and he's from Scotland, of all places. And he messages me on Instagram and says, hey, mate, I really love the stuff that you guys make. I'm doing a business conference East Coast tour in Australia in November. Would you guys be interested in filming the event? I was like, that sounds amazing. Yeah, well, we're based in Sydney. what is it that you had in mind? And he said, well, we're doing this conference at Pier 1 Hotel. It's going to be, amazing. It's right under the Harbour Bridge. It's going to be a full day thing. Would you be interested? I said, absolutely. Let's talk more. He asked for prices. I sent him prices. He said, yeah, fantastic. Can I pay a deposit? I was like,
Wow.
whoa, this guy is like, I said, well, hey, it's, one thing at a time. I just couldn't believe, I was like, this isn't a scammer because he's asking to pay me. He's not asking me to, like, this guy is really trusting right now. He's on the other side of the world. Good thing I'm not like a jerk. I'm just going to take his money and run off. But we video called and everything like that. He paid 50% of the service already to secure his day, which is obviously it's fine.
Wow.
But I'm just like, this guy is
Legit.
yeah, legit. He's overseas.
Wow.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
And so, we had another video call this week, and we're just going over the plans and everything like that. And it's set to be a phenomenal event. And I'm so keen to put this whole video together because it's going to be really exciting. This guy, he's a business coach for PTs. So he's like a PT for PT business.
Did you want to talk about the event a little bit, or is it still in planning?
It's still in planning.
Yeah.
But you'll all see the video when it comes out.
Oh, cannot wait for it, man.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was an incredible thing of where his business is also at its early stage as well. But his young business was so trusting already of my young business. And again, the power of social media connected us. Some guy in Scotland and some guy in Australia, both running their own little, their own small businesses, but they're going to be working together. Never doubt the power of social media. And yeah.
So he approached you even knowing that you were doing mainly real estate because you did an event.
So why has he asked us?
Yeah.
He said that when I asked him the same question, and he said, I really love the color grading that you guys have, the colors that you achieve, and you've got this sort of edginess to your video. They've got a bit of attitude, and they've just got this. He goes, I don't know what it is. It's your style. He goes, I want that. I want that energy. I want that drama. I want that, that X factor, but for my event. Can you do that? Absolutely, I can.
Yeah.
Like that brings it back to the what's selling Mayday Media is you, because you putting your creative flair, you putting your personality into it.
Yeah.
You're the one that people are buying, isn't it?
Well, look, I originally it was just me, but Mayday Media has outgrown just me, and it is its own entity now.
Yeah.
It has its own style, and it has its own, I guess, signature look.
Yeah.
And if people enjoy that and people want to work alongside us and have us produce content for them, we absolutely love that.
Awesome. That's a great way to tie up this podcast. But David Miller from Mayday Media, thanks for coming on to the show. Thanks for joining us and having a great conversation with us about creatives and business side of running a creative business.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And 1-star Google reviews.
And Karen.
And
Karen.
definitely thanks for taking a chance on us at the start, man. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
The man, the myth, the legend, David Miller.
Thank you for having me.